Hello and welcome back to Strike Fighters 2 Vietnam. I'm Devin. This is my first video that I've made for this game in probably about a year. Just shy of a year. I think I was recording in May and June of last year. But it's been a busy year. I had two computers fail on me and had to fix them. And was just busy with other stuff. So, but I'm in the mood to make another Strike Fighters video now. So here we are. The date is 11 November 1965. This is 2 days after our previous mission where I was shot down over Vietnam and luckily was saved probably by a search and rescue mission, maybe from the Red Crown destroyers or cruisers. I was slightly wounded but not hospitalized, so we're okay. And now it's 2 days later, and we're going to go back into it. So, let's see what we have here. We have a storage depot that needs to get blown up, and there's some trucks parked there. So, call sign Zebra. We're going to do 2 Sky Raiders, and it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's take a quick look at the map, not spend too much time. So, we're heading over by KFAT, and 6,000 feet, about 20 minutes in. Okay. So we're just going to head over to KFAT and blow up this truck. I think 750-pound bombs will do the trick. We're going to replace the drop tank with another 750. And we're good to go. Alright, I think that's all we need. We'll see you up on the flight deck. We're going to get underway. Here we're up on the flight deck of the Ticonderoga. Ready for launch. Heading directly into the sun. So that's always nice. And 2's up. And we are up. Gear, flaps up. Check on 2. Sometimes, I think I mentioned this before, if they launch first, they will plow into the water, and that would have been bad. That would have been, well, you guys would not have seen that because that would have been a restart. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Let's get out of this sun here. Looking at the sun through spinning propeller blades causes in real life, actually causes a very, very distracting flickering motion. And it's almost like a strobe light. If you are medically inclined towards seizures, then that shit can actually give you a seizure. That's a medical warning that the FAA puts out in pilot training and just occasionally in general to remind people to try not to look at the sun through propeller blades, at least with bare eyes. If you're doing some sunglasses, it mitigates the effects. Let's see, we're gonna set 46 inches for climb on the manifold pressure, and our best climb speed is, I believe, around 140. I was trying to look up Sky Raider manuals or pilot operating handbooks online earlier, and there doesn't seem to be anything for free on the internet. Like if you want a book, you're going to pay for it. And I was not about to do that just to look up some VX and VY speeds. So I noticed that the autopilot, when you let it go, will set it about 140. So that's what I'm going to do here. And we just hit waypoint 2, so we're going to turn over to 3. Where's our wingman? There he is. He's back there. Whoops. Got to continue my climb up to 6,000. And I just went the wrong way. No big deal. We get to take a look at the fleet as we circle over. So I was reviewing my previous mission video from last time, and definitely I think I only have myself to blame for getting shot down. We spent too much time over the target. Everyone else had gone, including the flight that we were supposed to be protecting by blowing up the anti-aircraft artillery. And I just have this... It's almost like an OCD need that if I have ordnance on the wing, I gotta drop it before I go back. Like, I gotta get the most number of kills, you know, and just the whole squadron needs to deplete all their ammo. Something about flying back to home base with ordnance still slung under the wing is, like, maddening to me for some reason. So I have this tendency to just loiter over targets forever until all the ordnance is gone. And that really nipped me in the ass because once all the other American aircraft left the area, it was just our poor little Sky Raiders getting shot at by the gunners on the ground. And so, really, if we had just dropped a bunch of bombs and then turned out over the ocean and gone home, I think at least 3 of us would have made it. I think there was that one Sky Raider that got shot down over the city for some reason because he got away from the squadron. But lesson learned. That's Ensign Horner is still very, very new to this, so we're just going to chalk that up as a rookie mistake. That was my, what was that? That was my 5th mission, so I take solace in the fact that that was 4 missions more than Dieter Dangler before he got shot down. Now there's a guy, he was a Sky Raider pilot for the Navy in Vietnam, who was shot down, captured, and then escaped. He is quite famous. There's been a couple of movies about him. The first one was a documentary by Herzog Werner called Little Dieter Needs to Fly, where he actually interviews Dieter Dangler. He was still alive at the time, and they go back to Vietnam and recreate his journey. A few years later, Werner made Rescue Dawn, which was a feature-length movie starring Christian Bale and Timothy Zahn. Really, really good. So, real Dieter, the real-life Dieter, he was born in '38 in Germany. He was a German national. He survived World War II. His father was killed on the Eastern Front. One day during the war, though, he was up in his attic, I believe, during an air raid, and he actually saw these American fighters coming by and strafing the town, and they were so close that he could see the pilots in the cockpits, and at that moment he knew that that was what he wanted to do. He wanted to fly, and he wanted that job. So at 18 years old, he sells all this scrap metal. He sells brass and other metal in the rubble remnants of Germany, buys a ticket, sails to America. Once he gets to America, he enlists in the Air Force. He's an enlisted guy for 2 years as a gunsmith. After that, goes to college. He does a 2-year aeronautic college degree. Then reapplies for the Navy. Boom, gets in as a pilot. So he flew for VA-145, Flying Sky Raiders. In 1965, they deployed with the USS Ranger for a Vietnam deployment. The first day that the Ranger gets on station at Yankee Station, February 1, 1966, which is about, 5 months from now in the game? It's his first mission. He goes out, he gets shot down. Anti-air artillery blows off his wing, and he cartwheels into the ground. He rides the Sky Raider in because he's too low to bail out. So he survives the crash. When he wakes up, he's been thrown clear by the crash. He's like 100 feet away, ejected from the impact, and he's basically fine, just has scratches. Well, the next day, he gets captured, and then for months after that, he's tortured incessantly. He gets force-marched to this POW camp. He ends up living there for several months. It's a small camp. There's only 6 other prisoners. One is an Air Force helicopter pilot named Martin, and then the other are 5 members of Air America who were shot down. That was Air America was the semi-secret CIA Air Force operating down there. So after months of this, Dieter's been planning escape the whole time because he had a very indomitable spirit, and he's like, we got to get out of here. So June 29th, finally it happens. The guards are overheard saying that they're tired of guarding these guys. The guards are not real soldiers. They're not full-time soldiers. They're like local militia, like farmer soldiers. Well, they've been stuck out here. They're tired of watching the prisoners. They want to go back home and see their families and tend to their farms. So their plan is to just shoot the prisoners and then claim they were escaping. Well, this sets the prisoners in motion. June 29, during lunch, they break out of their restraints. They steal the guards' weapons that are unattended because they're eating lunch, and then they shoot a bunch of the guys dead and then escape into the jungle. But that's not where it ends. They continue trudging through the jungle. Dieter and Martin end up teaming up because they became very close friends in the camp. So they're trudging through the jungle. They're trying to get downriver. They're trying to signal C-130s with fires and flares. The C-130s never see them. They run into a village with some villagers, kind of by accident, where Martin is decapitated and killed. July 20, so what is that? That's almost a month of wandering through the jungle alone and delirious. He finally finds a parachute that he is able to signal other A-1s from the Air Force, and they finally call in a rescue helicopter. So he is rescued. This is interesting. In Da Nang, he's held in a hospital, and the Air Force and the Navy are actually fighting over who gets to control the debriefing and the recovery. So they're more worried about who's in charge than his actual well-being. So, this is the funny part, the Navy sends in a SEAL team undercover who then steal Dangler away. They literally bust him out of the hospital, wheel him to a waiting helicopter, and fly him out back to the Ranger, where he has a huge reception waiting. The whole ship is assembled in the hangar bay, and they're cheering for him, and they give him a real welcome back. So yeah, that's the story. Well, that's the primary story of Dangler. The secondary part of that is that he suffered PTSD till the end of his life, and he couldn't sleep. He suffered night terrors. Even as soon as he got back to the ship, he was having problems sleeping in the sick bay or even in, like, a rack. His friends finally put him in a cockpit with a bunch of pillows, and that's the only place he ever felt safe, was in a cockpit. He continued flying after the war. He was a TWA pilot. He ended up being a civilian test pilot, survived 4 more crashes. This guy survived 5 crashes, like not bailing out. He rode these airplanes in. And he was flying all his life, right up to the very end. He was diagnosed with ALS, and he was quickly deteriorating. He went from being totally mobile and still flying to wheelchair-ridden, and with the fact that he only felt safe in cockpits, and he just, like, flying was his one passion. Once he was unable to do that, he rolled himself down the road in front of a fire station near his home and shot himself. And that's how he died. He's currently buried. He is buried in Arlington National Cemetery with no plans to go anywhere. And he was laid there to rest with in a funeral with full military honors, including an F-14 flyby. All right, man, we are feet dry. We're over the coast now. We got some major flak coming at us. Let's set my bombs. Whoops. There we go. 100 millisecond release time. Where's my wingman? Okay, he's just behind me.
Red Crown, Cowboy lead, Sandsman waypoint 4. Cowboy 1, Red Crown, copy that.
Man, we are getting painted by radars like crazy today. I don't even see a radar showing up on the map. Sometimes they pop up if they've been spotted.
Red Crown, hold, please. Sandsman waypoint 4. Hold, 1, Red Crown, copy.
All right. So we got this base, this truck park or something out here in the jungle. Man, it's way out there.
Red Crown, Tomahawk.
It says we're only 4 miles away, but it looks a lot further.
5 minutes. Tomahawk 1, Red Crown, copy that. Red Crown, Denver lead. Approaching target 5 minutes out. Denver 1, Red Crown, copy.
Passing over some sort of infantry base or headquarters. Oh, didn't like that. What's going on with my... And they're shooting at us a little bit. More flak.
Red Crown, hold, please. We're approaching our target. 5 minutes. Hold, 1, Red Crown, copy that. Red Crown, Cowboy lead. 5 minutes to our target. Cowboy 1, Red Crown, copy.
What the hell? Huh. I was looking at the wrong waypoint. I thought that last waypoint was our target point. That was actually our initial point. That is 2 navigational mistakes on this mission. Apparently I have not played this in a while. Whoopsie.
Fast lead. We're approaching our target. 5 minutes. Ask 1, Red Crown, copy.
Ooh, we got some, maybe B-57s coming in? Oh, wingman, attack my target.
Welcome. Attacking your target.
Alright, there's those trucks lined up. I can see them. We're gonna nose over. Start heading down. We can see some crossfire coming from some sort of AA site just to the right of where we want to be. Those 2 lines there, parallel lines, those are trucks. And we're gonna release.
Jeez. Good job. Return to base.
Look at that. We actually timed that perfectly with those Canberras. Hello.
Miles away.
And let's get our
2, Roger.
wingman to rejoin. They're heading out. Actually, at this point, there's no point in hanging out low down by 6,000 feet where we can get sniped at by anti-aircraft guns. So I'm going to go ahead and climb back up to a cruising altitude of, I don't know, 15,000 feet, let's say. We'll go up to 15 grand and then we'll egress back over the water and back to the Ticonderoga. Bring the nose down to try to get that speed back up and maintain our climb speed. Adjusting pitch in the climb will adjust your speed.
Red Crown, Cowboy lead, fasten waypoint 7. Cowboy 1, Red Crown, copy that. Red Crown, pass lead, passing waypoint 7. Ask 1, Red Crown, copy that. Mark. Red Crown, Tomahawk 3, passing waypoint 7. Tomahawk 1, Red Crown, copy.
I changed my mind. 12,000 feet is going to be sufficient. That'll keep us under this under these clouds. Clouds? Why did I say it like that? Keep us under the clouds, and but with plenty of altitude to avoid any trouble from the ground.
Red Crown, hold, please, passing waypoint 7.
And there's our waypoint 6 as well.
Copy that.
Waypoint 7 is 21 miles away. 080 bearing. Seems like a pretty quiet morning. Let's take a look and just cycle through the units and see who's out with us today. So there's a wingman. We have... Oh, that's weird. We have A4s leaving the area and heading back out to sea, and they still have their cluster bombs on board. Interesting.
Red Crown, Cowboy lead, fasten waypoint 8. Cowboy 1, Red Crown, copy that.
Ooh. We got some F-101 Voodoos on a recon mission. Kinda looks like... No, it's hard to tell. Kinda looks like they're maybe heading south already. Who is this? Asp. Yep, down in the bottom left corner. I just pointed at my screen, like you could see what I'm doing. Down in the lower left corner, just above where it says Zebra, you can see the ASP group heading west, back inland. I always liked F-101s. I think they're really sharp looking. They really didn't do any... Actually, they did no combat in Vietnam. The only versions used were the recon 101s. Here's the B-57s. And then we had Marine Crusaders out, providing air support somewhere.
I've got a spot. I'm taking service.
Wow, look at that. A-26 invaders were out blowing something up too. They say they've got rocket pods mounted under the wings, along with some pylons, and also they have an internal bomb bay that they drop ordnance out of. Oh man, heading directly into the rising sun for the next 30 miles. That would drive me crazy. If it was real life, I would actually just do like a 30 degree course off to my right, and then maybe zigzag back. You can see I've been moved to aircraft number 305, my wingman in 306 over there, since I lost 300 on my previous mission. That had been the aircraft that I was using. I think every mission was 300. Well, now that's gone. So now we're in 305. Alright, we're starting to come up over the fleet here, so I'm going to begin my descent down to about what do I want to do? Let's do 3,000 feet for the flyover, and then the overhead 360. Disengaged. We'll drop down, we'll do a 3,000 foot per minute descent. So we're right over the Oriskany. Let's see here. There's the USS Oriskany. There's the Midway down off our left nose.
I've got a spot.
Did not want to do that. I think our wingman has separated for landing. Oh yeah, he's got the dive brakes out, and he's going to get himself set up for landing.
I've got a spike.
And we're at 3,500 feet. We'll bring the power up. And we'll level off. Here at 3,000 for the overhead brake in 360.
left, lead.
Tailhook's down and locked. Pointed at the carrier. Again, I think I mentioned this in one of the other episodes. The overhead brake, first used extensively during World War II. It was a convenient and efficient means to get large numbers of aircraft down without having to set them up on long approaches into airfields. Also by keeping the speed up and corkscrewing down within a very confined space near an airfield, it minimized your risk to ground fire, which obviously is not really an issue out here to sea, but some of the air bases in Vietnam, like Da Nang, for example, if we look at our map right now, there's two VC squadrons of infantry just to the west, and there's a valley that the aircraft come down off of missions in order to position for landing on the runway, and that valley, according to the map, is enemy held right now. So it's important even now here in other parts of Vietnam, but. And we're over. Speed brakes out. There's the Ticonderoga. We're gonna come on down to pattern altitude of 1,000 feet. Drop the tootsies. Flaps are coming down. Retract those. We're going to open the cockpit for escape measures if necessary. If we crash, it'll be easy to get out of the aircraft. And I think we're good. Let's start turn to base and final.
I've got a spike.
Ooh, we're a little off to the side.
Spike.
Did it. Positive contact with the deck. Flaps up. Hook up. Fold them wings.
I've got a spike.
And we're going to taxi clear of the landing zone. And we're outside the danger line. Got that elevator. There it is. That aircraft elevator up in the bow here of this old Essex class carrier. And cut the ignition.
I've got a spike.
Another successful mission under our belt. Way better than the last time. Nice and quiet. No real excitement.
I've got a
No
spike.
loss of wingmen. No having to swim around in the Gulf of Tonkin or travel overland through any jungles, so it's good. And it's only like 6:30 or something like that, so that means that we can get out of here, go below, and catch some chow because breakfast is just starting. Huzzah! Alright, quick debriefing here. Not much to talk about. We nailed the storage depot. We blew the crap out of those trucks. It was a 41-minute flight. One A1 was damaged. I'm not even sure who, because it didn't look like either A1 had any visible damage on it. But maybe it was me. We were a little low again through the bomb delivery, and then those Canberra bombs came down and they all exploded underneath us. So maybe I had light damage. I'm not really sure. Oh, you know what? There's probably a way we can check. Oh, geez, we didn't hit anything. My bombs must have landed before everyone else's. Ensign Hickey got 2 kills. 7 hits with his bombs. Let's see. Some cannons. Did some firings. Hickey hit some stuff. He hit a building and a water tower. And then... So, I don't know. Somebody must have gotten lightly grazed. And let's see, we have POW Jacobson. McCarthy, still MIA. And Ensign Fraser is wounded. I don't remember what that was from. Alright, easy peasy. Well, thanks for stopping by and watching that. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one coming up soon. See you later.